What you might hear on the Dad Podcast can be considered offensive. We have explicit content. You have been warned. Proceed with caution.
Titties!
You're listening to the Dad Podcast.
Let's get started.
Fuck those little kids.
Yeah, I'm on my own. I don't need no one. I don't. Yeah, I'm in my zone. Cross my heart and break my bones.
All right. Well, let's start by saying I apologize. I have been MIA for the past month. Things have been crazy with my son's football. Tyler, who used to be on this quite frequently, just got married. So there was 2 weeks of some crazy ass partying and a wedding. So here I am back again on my own, doing a solo act, a podsturbation, if you will. Just a few things to talk about tonight. It's the spooky season. It's Halloween. It's my second favorite time of the year. Obviously, my number one favorite is Christmas. I believe we've talked about that before. But I love Halloween. I love the frights. I love the scares. I love so much about the history of it, just a lot of it. We did an episode many, many years ago called Sam Halloween, where we kind of tried to break down, how Halloween started. But it's a great holiday, and it's coming up in like a week and 3 days, week and a half. It's going to be crazy. I'm not sure how it's going to work out on a Tuesday. I've only got 2 young kids who are into the going out and about, but I'll probably be decorating here today, maybe tomorrow, getting that stuff up out in the yard. My oldest and I, we like to put things out there, dead bodies, animatronics, fog machines, spiders, I like to scare people. Sometimes I feel bad when I scare a little kid, but, it comes with the territory. So, yeah, we'll get onto that later. Few things I want to bring up over the past couple weeks while I've been out and about and doing things. My wife and I discovered a new bar we like. It is down in Eagle, and it's I don't know how new it is, but to us it's new. It's the old State Street Saloon, and it is awesome. It's a very laid back kind of place, but I'll tell you what, you all know I'm a whiskey drinker, and they make excellent old fashions. I don't know exactly how many I had, 6, 7, 8, I don't know. They were good. Totally worth it. Go check it out. Great atmosphere, great drinks, great people. Like, it's just an awesome place all around. We went there to see a person I work with. Her husband is in a group. He plays a instrument I've never really heard of before. I don't know the exact name of it. Pretty much it's a square drum, I guess. It's square in shape, and you sit on it and do the drums that way. He's awesome. It was great. The group that we saw was called the Tom Swanson Trio. They were awesome. Did a lot of my favorite genre, 80s. Kept it going all night long. We stayed until the end. It was definitely worth seeing. Next time I find out where they're at, I'll go see them again. There's that. As far as Tyler's bachelor party, it was one hell of a crazy night. I don't know how else to put it other than that. There was a mixture of drugs and alcohol, fights, strippers, many strippers. One heck of a night. Congratulations to him on getting married. I can't believe somebody actually decided they wanted to live with him forever. But, Brittany, here's to you being cuckoo. But no, awesome. Congrats to them. The wedding was another crazy night. I've decided after these past couple weeks, deep down inside, I'm still young. I still feel young. But on the outside, I am old as hell. I cannot be staying out till 2, 3 in the morning partying and get up early the next day. After the wedding, so my wife and I, we planned with Dan and Tana. They went to it also. And we decided we were going to go for just a short time. You know, the wedding started at 5. We'd probably be home 8, 9 at the latest, you know, hang out a little bit, talk. We got home at 2 in the morning. We had many drinks. And then we had to get up at 6 and take our youngest son to his football game. And I will tell you what, it probably would have been a great picture if we had taken one of my wife and I sitting outside in our chairs, her wrapped in a blanket. I was half dead, zoning out, partially almost falling back asleep before his game started. And it showed us that we are not young and cannot handle the all-night partying anymore. But it was good times. It was worth it. You know, however you want to call it, whether there's a slight hangover, you know, no bad hangovers, little tired and slight headache. I do have to say though that what made that day worse wasn't the football game, wasn't any of that. I guess worse and better. It was actually pretty. It turned out to be pretty cool. But my oldest is into going to concerts, into some groups. Funny enough, some of them have been around since I was in high school and junior high that he likes, which is awesome. But he kidnapped me, in a good way, I guess, and took me to the Tool concert. It was fun. It was great. It was an awesome show. I like Tool. The group before Tool, and I'm having a brain fart, so I'm going to look it up here, was awesome. I love this guy, and I call it a group, and it's not really a group. Steel Buns. Now, sorry, Steel Buns. Steel Beans. Maybe it was a group, maybe it's not, I don't know. But that night, it was one guy. This guy is a hell of an artist. He was singing, playing the guitar, and drums all at the same time. It was awesome. Very talented man. Great show. I bought a T-shirt of his and was lucky enough he was out there when I bought it and he autographed it. And lucky in meaning I got the guy to autograph it. Unlucky as in I spent a lot of money on this T-shirt that I can now never wear because it's been autographed and I will ruin it. But it was, again, worth it. I follow this guy now. You guys should all go check him out. Steel Beans. Awesome. So worth it. The music is good. Like I said, he's very talented. It's great. That was before the Tool. Then, of course, Tool. Tool always puts on a good show. You know, they've got the lights. They've got the singing. They've been around for a long time. They're great. But the bonus to it, so the downside was I still had a slight hangover / headache, whatever. And my son likes to get close to the stage. We were probably 10 feet away from the biggest speaker I've ever seen, right in my ear. Did not help the headache. But again, it was worth it. And one of the parts that made it so worth it was in the end. Obviously, I was mostly deaf because of this. It was very loud. As we're walking away, I faintly hear somebody call my name. And I was like, okay, maybe not. Maybe I'm just hearing things, you know, obviously ringing in my ear, blah, blah, blah. He called my name again, and I turn around, and it's a good friend of mine, someone I hadn't seen in a while, Andy. And so he lives, you know, I don't know, 70 miles away, whatever. He lives in a different town now. I went to school with him in Moscow. And we became really good friends. You know, life changes you. We both get married. He goes on to do better things than what I'm doing with my life, but whatever. He's got a real career. I still have a job. Both families, kids, that kind of stuff. So, you know, he lives in another town, but it was a surprise. He was down for the concert. He found me. I go back and I start talking with him, and here comes running up another buddy from college, Don. I haven't seen either of these guys in a long time, so that was awesome. I totally made the loud noise with my hangover headache worth it to run into them and see them for a few minutes. I will get them on here one of these days and, you know, hear some fun stories from when we were in school together. But on to different things. So, again, you know, get to travel with my wife more often now. You know, we went to New Orleans, and I know I brought that up. You know, I've gone to concerts lately. We've gone to some shows. You know, going to the bars to see shows. And in this crazy ass world where there's so many dicks, so many people you just don't want to even deal with. And the sad thing is that a lot of those people are relatives. And I don't mean just my relatives. I mean related to you, the listeners. Like, I'm sure some of your relatives are dicks and you just don't want to be around them. Maybe not. And if you love every relative you have, more power to you. That's awesome. But they are out there. And I've found lately that the strangers I meet are better people, nicer to talk to, more fun to be around than people I've known for a long time. And it's weird. Like you would expect more, at least I would expect my friends and family and people I've known for years to treat me better or treat my family better or be more fun to hang around than just strangers on the street. And maybe it's just because of my age. Maybe something's changing inside me where I enjoy the strangers more. I don't know. But that's how it is. Like the strangers that I've met lately, just people I don't know that I just run into and strike up a conversation with have been awesome. Just really awesome to talk to. And it's, I don't know, it's a great thing. It's just wonderful to have that right now. So yeah, meet some strangers, say hi. Let's move on again. I try to, for the most part, be a positive thinking kind of guy. Sometimes I hear from my wife that I'm negative, and I don't feel the same way. I don't think that she's correct on that. I don't think I'm a negative guy. I may make a few comments, but they're more statements, and it's not me being negative. It's me stating a fact that most of the time turns out to be true because I just know we've done something so many times. I'm like, okay, well, this is what's going to happen. And she tells me I'm the most negative person in the world. Whatever. I don't feel that. I personally feel that I'm a pretty positive guy. And on that note, I wanted to talk about there's that saying, is the glass half empty or half full? And a lot of people in the world that I've met are glass half empty, especially at our age, 44, 45, we're getting up there. And it's like the glass is half empty kind of thing. Like, oh, okay, well, here we go. We're on the downslide now. You meet a few with the glasses half full. We can there's still more we can do, which is it's good. I lean more towards right in the middle. The glass is refillable, people. Who cares? Things change. Things can change. Things will change. Things have changed. It's just, you can always get a new glass. How about that? Everybody's like, oh, well, you're getting up there. Yeah, I don't have a degree. I've got a lot of college credits. I've went to many different schools. I changed my course of studies so many times. I don't have a degree. I would like one, yes. But it's never too late. When I was going to school up at U of I in Moscow, I was a cook, and one of our frequent customers, our regulars, was an 88-year-old man who was going to college and getting his degree at 88. Now, obviously, I don't want to wait till I'm 88 to get my degree. I want to be, and I want to be young enough that, to still be able to do the things I want to do with that degree, if that makes sense. I don't want to work for people. I don't want to make other people money. I hate it. I don't feel I'm using my potential to make somebody else money. I just think that's crap. I don't want that in my life. I don't want to feel that way. I want to have my own thing and do it. But it's never too late to change. Like I said, get a new glass. Fill it up to the top, empty it again, get a whole nother one. Like, I don't know why it has to be glass half empty, half full. Like, literally, people, the glass is interchangeable. The glass can be refilled. Like, there's just so many other options. So just go with that. You know what I mean? Like, it's let's get some more positivity in the world. So now I've got all my little side things out of the way. I want to talk about something else that I really love, and it fits in perfect with this time of year, is horror movies. Okay, and I don't mean, that they're the only movie type that I love. They're not even my favorite type, but I do love them. Mostly I'm into the cheesy 80s, horror, like Evil Dead, Army of Darkness, lots of blood, lots of tits, just gore I think that's great. As far as like some of the other ones, the newer ones, from 2000 on, I'm not a big fan of, what is that one? Paranormal Activity. Some of those. The Blair Witch, I fucking hated the Blair Witch. I thought it was stupid. I don't like those where they're trying to make it look real, I guess. And not that they're bad movies. I'm not a huge fan of the ones my mom kind of likes, like Poltergeist. Poltergeist was great. Obviously, it did well. It was a good movie. But all those like demon possession type ones are just I get it. They can scare some people and it could be real, but it's just like, I don't know. For the most part, I find those pretty boring. I'm huge on the Nightmare on Elm Streets. Love those. Some of my other favorites from when I was younger, Critters, Ghoulies, Puppet Masters. Those are all awesome movies. Friday the 13th. What are some of the others? Like I Spit on Your Grave. They Live, like Fright Night. Fright Night was awesome. Both the 80s and the remake. You can even go even more classic. Nosferatu, Dracula, Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That is a hell of a good movie, right? And it's a horror movie that is so realistic because it's not a ghost. It's not a werewolf. It's not a troll. You know what I mean? It's a psycho who cuts people up and uses their face as a mask. Like it's real. And those I think are the scariest. But obviously, like I said, Nightmare on Elm Street, some of my favorites. I went through, the other day, and I was just looking, and I went to a couple different sites, and I wanted to get their take on the best horror movies of all time. Okay. Some of the sites were, let me see, Rotten Tomatoes, which is to me is a big one. It's where I usually get all my critics scoring from, if that makes sense. Like I was never big on Siskel and Ebert or whatever. Like for the most part in the past, and even nowadays, movie critics say one thing about a movie and they talk one way about it, and I just almost 100% every time disagreed. Never really thought the same way they did. And I know, again, talked about this a few times. It's more of the, they're like, oh, the filmmaking was this, the cinematography was this, the acting was so. His lines could have been better. He stuttered here. He improvised too much here. I'm more along the lines of, was I entertained? Could I make it through the whole movie? How many times did I get up and be like, whatever, walk away, then come back? Like, to me, if I could go to a theater, sit down with some popcorn and a soda, and be entertained the entire time, laugh sometimes, whatever, love the action. As long as I'm entertained, it was a good movie to me. Yeah, sometimes I make a comment about how I thought the movie was pretty funny or good, and I get teased the entire rest of my life about it. Okay. I never said it was 100% the greatest movie ever. Never said it was one of my favorites. I don't even own the movie. I said it was funny. I laughed. I said it was an okay movie. Drop it. I'm talking to my brothers. Dicks. Baby Geniuses was an okay movie. I never said it was wonderful or my favorite. Back off. Back onto the lists for the 25, just the best horror movies of all time. Now, Rotten Tomatoes did a list of 200 best. One site I looked at did the 25 best. And another one did the 50 best. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go just quickly through Rotten Tomatoes. And this is back in the back. How to put this? From 51 on. These are just some of the movies that I don't agree with their ratings of where they sit. I think for the most part they should be higher. Again, one of them, this is just a personal to me, but Nightmare on Elm Street 3 they have rated as number 200. Like, it didn't even make it into the top 50. 200 didn't even make it in the top 100. Come on, people. Bram Stoker. I can't even talk right. Bram Stoker's Dracula was ranked 198. Hellraiser, Pinhead. Hellraiser was another classic one from the 80s, 90s. It was just awesome. And obviously they were good enough because they made 10 of them, people. Like, how is it rated 197? The Mist is a newer one. Again, Stephen King is, I'm a huge fan of Stephen King. Love almost anything Stephen King. His books, his movies, all of them. And The Mist, I thought was a great movie. Again, I think it should have been probably in the top 100, but it's rated 193. Land of the Dead. Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Again, that's the second. It's another one that's part of the Nightmare on Elm Street. Now, again, out of all of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, that was probably my second least favorite. My least favorite of them is Freddy versus Jason. I liked the, how do I put it, the thought process on it. Could have been a good movie. I just don't know. I'm. That was probably, out of all of the Nightmare on Elm Streets, that one was my least favorite one. And A New Nightmare was my second least. I just think it could have been done better. Lost Boys, one of my all-time favorite movies, period. Not the all-time favorite, but one of them. Is a great vampire movie, great story. How was it rated 180? 180. And I know some of you out there, I know some of these listeners agree with me. I know I've talked to some of you. Like, this is a great movie. Great vampire movie, great story. Like, how is it rated 180? Okay. Scream, not one of my top favorites, but again, I don't see how it's 178, how it's not even in the top 100. Creature from the Black Lagoon, classic. Tremors, classic. Dead Alive, great. American Werewolf in London, classic. Dr. Sleep, again, it's a Stephen King thing for me. Rated 131. I feel higher it should be. Exorcist, 126. Again, not some of my favorite movies, but that definitely should be rated higher than 126. Blair Witch, probably in my book, should have been 200 or way past 200. It was rated 111. How Blair Witch beat out some of these other ones I just listed, I don't understand. I don't know who does these ratings. Again, most of the time I don't agree with them. The remake of The Fright Night, which I liked, with Colin Farrell. I thought it was great. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This is what I'm saying. Like, that is a great movie, great horror movie, great all-around movie. Like, I don't get how they rated that as 101. How? Another Misery. Misery is another one like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's considered a horror movie, but it's about a stalker fan and a famous book writer, and he gets in a car accident, and she kidnaps him pretty much. You know, when he's unconscious, she hobbles him like. And I don't know if you know what that is, but like she puts a 4x4 in between his ankles and hits him with a sledgehammer so he can't move. He can't walk around. It's a great type of horror movie where it could definitely happen in real life. And it was such a good movie, and it's rated 99. Dawn of the Dead. Okay. I mean, these were great zombie movies. Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, Land of the Dead. How are these so far down? I don't know. I don't get it. Another Stephen King, The Shining. The Fly with Jeff Goldblum. How is that number 74? And now this one really, really irked me. And again, this is a personal thing for me. But Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one, Johnny Depp's first movie, number 73. Not even the top 50 of greatest horror movies. And this is the Rotten Tomatoes. Then you got The Ring, whatever. So Evil Dead 2. Again, my top favorites, and they're 58 and 56. Nosferatu, 56. And then Carrie, another Stephen King one. And this was a great movie back in the day. 51. Okay. I don't understand that. And we'll get on to some of these others, like how did they make it into the top 50? So let's just see. So number 50 for for sorry people, for Rotten Tomatoes is Midsummer. Whatever. Number 54, this other one I looked at, and this drives me crazy, It. Now, again, this is the remake of it, but I thought it was done great. I think it's awesome. I know it did great in the cinemas and stuff. How it's 50 out of the top 50, but I'll accept it. Okay. House of Wax, they have it as number 48. Whatever. This one on this other list, number 49, Nightbreed. It is one I liked. I did go back and watch it again on Friday. I took a look at it again, and it's a good movie. I do like it. And it was made in 92, but I still feel even back in 92, they could have done better makeup, special effects, whatever. It is a good movie. It was made by Clive Barker. Let me see. Let's go down the list here. Let's see. Some of these I hadn't even heard of. A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. Never heard of it. His House, Ready or Not, Tigers Are Not Afraid. These are all movies in the top 50 of greatest monster movies, and I never even heard of them. Mandy, they actually have, on Rotten Tomatoes, they have it at number 41. So they did better than this other list where they had it at 50. Cat People, Don't Look Now. The Birds. The Birds is a classic, awesome, great movie. And they have it at 38. The Wailing, Dead of Night, Under the Shadow. Say again, some more that I haven't heard. Pee-Pee Tom, The Witch. Cabin in the Woods, good movie. I don't know if it was rated number 30. I mean, some of these I said in the past are way better than that, yet it's rated higher. I don't get that. Silence of the Lambs, okay, I can get that. That's at 25. So let's go through this other one really quick. I don't know if there's many that are gonna Night of the Lepus, whatever. There's other side. The Toxic Avenger. Toxic Avenger is a classic 80s horror movie, but it's also kind of a comedy feel to it. It was 1984. It was awesome. I thought it was great. It is one of those. It goes along the lines with Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Like it's just great. Swamp Thing, number 43 on this one. Dragon Slayer, good movie. Basket Case, another 80s classic in 82. The Mummy, and they're talking the 1932 version of The Mummy, not the Brendan Fraser or the newest one with Tom Cruise. They're going classic 82 there. Sorry, 32. 82. Pitch Black. I don't know if I'd count that as a horror movie. I just don't. It doesn't really fit. And again, this is just one site. And I think this was, I don't know, not CNN, but one of those. 1941, The Wolfman, scored number 36. Lake Placid, I remember this one. Again, not so sure if it's like saying The Meg, counting The Meg as, I mean, Lake Placid is just a giant crocodile. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I'd count it as a horror movie. The Blob, 1958, The Blob, classic. They got it as 34. I'm going to skip ahead here, and I'm going to go through the three lists that I have, 25 on. And let's just see how. Okay. So I got three different lists here, and we're going to start at 25. Okay. Rotten Tomatoes gives number 25 to Silence of the Lambs. Again, great movie. Understandable. Okay. I maybe 25 fits. Okay. This other one has Godzilla, 1954. Oh, no, I'm backwards. They have that as number one. All right, we'll come back to that. Let's see. 24, they have Pumpkinhead, 1988's Pumpkinhead as number 25. And then Tremors for the third list as number 25. So we've got Silence of the Lambs, Tremors, and Pumpkinhead. I'm going to have to say, in my opinion, Silence of the Lambs, I'll give it to them for 25 because I don't know if I would rate it lower or higher there. I think Tremors definitely should, in my book, be higher. Maybe in the top 15. Here's another dispute. So back to what I was saying earlier. Rotten Tomatoes has The Mist, Stephen King's The Mist, as 193 out of the top 200. This list has them as 24, and my other list has Tremors as 24. So two of them are pretty dang close, 24 and 25 for Tremors. I apologize. They have The Beast from 20,000. Whatever. It's 24. Tremors was 23. So they're a little bit higher on that list for Tremors for me. Which again, I'd still give them in the top. To me, I would give them the top 15. Moving on. Invisible Man 24, Aliens 23, Night of the Living Dead as 22. I don't know if I saw that in these other lists. Pan's Labyrinth is okay, 23. Piranha, 1978's Piranha. That goes along with Jaws, Lake Placid, which Jaws is also included in these lists somewhere. I don't know how much I would count that as a monster movie or horror movie. Same with the movie Aliens, okay? Rotten Tomatoes lists Aliens as number 5. The top 5. Number 5 in the top 5 greatest horror movies of all time, or as they call it, monster movies. I don't count Aliens and monsters same thing. Maybe I'm alone. I don't know. That's just me. Here's another one. They got Creature from the Black Lagoon is number 21, where Rotten Tomatoes had them past 100. Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde from 1931, they have as 19. Jurassic Park. Now, do we count that as a horror movie? They do. I'm more like, again, fantasy. Same with, I don't know, Jaws and Lake Placid and Piranha. A big fish and dinosaurs are back alive. I don't count that as horror. I don't know. But they have Jurassic Park as 17. Let's see. We got 1932 is The Mummy, which is good. American Werewolf in London as 16 on this other list. And now we're down to 15. We're down to the top 15 between the three lists. Okay. One list has The Lighthouse. Don't think I've even heard of that one. Another one has The Descent. Okay. I get that. I would choose something else. Another one has The Gremlins. I love The Gremlins. I think The Gremlins is a classic movie. It's a great movie. I guess in its time, back in 1984, it was considered horror. I mean, I guess it still kind of partially can be considered horror. It's got the little gremlins. But I don't know. It's hard for me to be like, oh yeah, great horror movie. I'll give it number 15. I'm okay with it being 15. Let's see. We got Frankenstein. Awesome. Predator. And The Shape of Water. Not a big fan of The Shape of Water. I'm pretty sure that was another M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong movie. Not that it was horrible, but I don't know if I'd really give it top 15, and they gave it number 14. Predator, again, it's more of an alien type thing. I don't know if I count that as a horror, or why it's in the top 15 horror movies. Here's another one. This one I am fully 100% against its rating. And not that it was a bad movie. It's a great movie. It does not belong in the horror movie, monster movie status. And I don't know if they put it in there just because of the name. But this list has at number 13. Okay, one list has Babadook. Get that. Perfect. Fine. This list has Monsters, Inc., the children's show. Not really horror. Do not count it as horror. Kind of upset they even put it in the list. And it's just stupid. Like, why would you do that? The Reanimator, I give that. I'll take that at 13. That's awesome. Number 12, we got Jaws. See, here goes another one. like I said before, Piranha, Lake Placid, Jurassic Park, and now they have Jaws in the top 15 horror movies. Jaws is not a horror movie. It's a great movie. There are some scary parts, but there's some scary parts about all kinds of movies. I don't feel Jaws should be listed in a horror movie status. Now, that's just me. I'm sure there's plenty that'll disagree. I'm going to jump ahead. I'm getting a little long on here. And so they had Jaws at 12 on Rotten Tomatoes. This other list I found, Jaws is number 5. Okay, so I'm going through the top 5 now. We have Aliens, Jaws, which, again, I'm not a fan of either one of those being top 5 or even part of the horror movie genre. I don't feel they belong when they're with Frankenstein and the Mummy and the Wolfman. This other list, all right, is the only one so far in the top 5. Rotten Tomatoes, I love you. I love coming to you for ratings and stuff. I disagree with Jaws being number 5 in the top, or sorry, Aliens being number 5 in the top 5 horror movies. Actually, I disagree with all but one of your top 5. Okay, Rotten Tomatoes has, in order from 5 down, Alien, Us, The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Okay, great horror movie, awesome. 1919, great black and white movie. Don't know if I'd give it top 5. Top 10, yes. Top 5, I don't know. Get Out, number 1 is the only one I agree with, and I don't know if it should be number 1, but it is a classic. It is a great horror movie. I'm glad it's in the top 5. Psycho. All right, so Rotten Tomatoes had 2 that I agree should be in the top 10, but only one of them should be in the top 5, and that is Psycho. Other than that, I'm not so sure about their list. I have a lot to argue with Rotten Tomatoes on that list. The second list I got here, we have number 5 is Jaws. Again, don't agree that should be in there. Number 4 is King Kong. Okay, whatever. 3, Frankenstein. Awesome, thank you. 1931's classic Frankenstein. Number 2, The Bride of Frankenstein. Also agree. Awesome, great. Those are classics. They have number 1 on this list as Godzilla. Really? It's hard for me. I'm not saying, I don't know. Like it's when I think horror movie, I don't think Godzilla. I don't think Jaws. I don't think Lake Placid. I don't even really think Gremlins. It fits. I do get it. And it fits with what I like, and that's why I get it, is because it does fit with Ghoulies and Critters and Tremors and Puppet Masters, which to me are classics. On the final list, we got number 5 is The Thing. Awesome, agree. They have Alien as number 4. Do not agree. Totally disagree there. Number 3, Cat People. Okay. Number 2 is Jaws. Again, why? Why is Jaws in these lists? I agree with this one being in the top 5. It's not my top 5, but I get why this one's in the top 5. I don't know if I'd give it number 1. I do love this movie. And as soon as I say the main actor, Jeff Goldblum did great. I thought it was a classic. It was awesome. The Fly. Don't know if I'd give it number 1. So we have Psycho, we have The Fly, and we have Godzilla. I think out of the 3, Psycho's probably the closest to being a number 1 top horror movie. And again, this is all just personal opinion. But out of these lists, like that would be what I would think would fit more with it. But now let me kind of backtrack a little bit. I like it as a horror movie, and out of those 3 I named, probably my pick to be top 1. Although I love The Fly. Fly should definitely be in the top 5. I don't know, because this list I printed was called Monster Movie. Is Psycho really a monster movie? I mean, it's a human. It's a man. Like The Fly, even Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Jason Voorhees are no longer human. One is pretty much a zombie. The other one is only alive in your dreams. So technically a dream walker. Like it's not really, he's not really human anymore. So Psycho, very scary. Same with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Not a monster, but very scary. I do agree that they're in the horror movie genre, but I don't know if it'd be monster movie. When you think monster movie, which it now makes sense on why they put some of these others, Godzilla, King Kong, Jaws, Lake Placid, because those are monster. They are monster. Not really horror, but they're monster. I guess Alien can fit as a monster too. But see, where do you break that down between, take it away from horror to monster or from thriller to horror or anything like that? It's a hard decision for anybody. But if I have to pick my top 5 that I would watch for horror, monster, whatever, obviously Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one, classic. Yes, the acting, whatever. So that would be, number 1 for me. Right now, just going off the top of my head, and that might change next week. I might remember other movies that I really loved. But Nightmare on Elm Street is definitely in there. Number 1. I think I would go with Tremors. Not number 2, but Tremors in the top 5. So Nightmare on Elm Street, Tremors. I really love the cheesy, just Evil Dead. I would think would be in there. And then Army of Darkness. Bruce Campbell is awesome. And then for me, Land of the Dead. I love Look, I love George A. Romero is a hero. He is just awesome at what he does. And Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, great movies. Land of the Dead, I think I just loved because it was more with my childhood and time frame, I guess. And the actors, but it fit. It fit with his others, and it was awesome that it came out so much after the other ones, Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, Day of the Dead. It came out so much later than those, but still fit and was still great. So I think if I was to sit down and watch 5 monster / horror / thriller, Nightmare on Elm Street, Land of the Dead. Yeah, you heard the list. I forgot what I was saying, but yeah. I don't know if it's going to take me a lot longer for me to think up and come with what I think are the greatest of all time horror movies, because there's so many. Like I said, it drove me crazy that Rotten Tomatoes gave some of these, like Land of the Dead, Hellraiser. Like Hellraiser is a terrifying movie. Tremors, Dawn of the Dead, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, The Mummy. Like, how are these, Dracula, Nosferatu, how are these only in the top 200? Like, in near 200. They almost didn't make the list. How is that? Who makes your lists? Who decides, that this is the best one, and how? Like, because those should have been rated way higher. Way higher. Feel free to disagree with me and send me a message. Tell me you disagree. That's fine. I would love it. I would love to hear from anybody on if they disagree. I would have loved to have Chase here tonight with me recording this and talking about it. Not that he's a huge movie guy. He's getting there. My boy is coming. He's getting there. He's been watching more movies, but he does know the older ones, and I think he could have an opinion on these movies and how he feels about some of these old ones not being rated higher. I would love to have my wife on here, but she won't. She will never join me on here again. She was once. I thought she did great. She didn't like it, whatever. She won't come back on here. But I know she loves those kind of movies. She likes horror movies too. It would be nice to get her opinion. Or my mom's. But, honestly, I love my mom. I'm not going to call her. I'm not going to get her on the phone because she won't stop talking. And I would like to end this now. I try to make these a little bit shorter when I'm alone. I'm going to go back to watching football today. So, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please let me know if you disagree with my opinion on horror movies, monster movies, however you want to look at them. Sean, I would love to hear your opinion, but I don't think you're into them, and I don't know if you have one. I don't know if you've even seen half of the movies I've talked about. But hey, if you got opinion, let me know, man. All right. Dab outs out, bitches.